Oh, I want baby girl.
Don't baby girl me. How many of your groupies you call baby girl? Is Tisha a baby girl? Is Amanda a baby girl too? And who the hell is Bonquisha? Is that even a name?
Man, I can't
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Sharane's World, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Sharane's World, everybody. Listen, welcome all my subscribers, okay? Welcome all my victims, my survivors, my thrivers, or anybody that just want to educate yourself. You already know. We got to welcome all you narcissists men and women out here in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sharane's World, okay? Facebook, YouTube, hello, how everybody is doing tonight. You already know them narcissists out working, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Oh, absolutely, they are out. So let's get into this real quick. Yes. Let's get into it. Welcome to Sharane's World, everybody. We want to get into this right now. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sharane World. As you know, I'm Sharane. I'm a peer mentor survivor for domestic violence and narcissistic abuse relationships. Okay, I spread awareness, about my situation, and I just spread awareness about everything. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen. I also, I spread awareness for men and women because at the end of the day, domestic violence and narcissistic abuse has no gender. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, the whole goal tonight, it is Friday. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday out here in these streets. Let's go, especially in Binghamton. Listen, so it's Friday and everybody is out and about at them clubs, them bars, them shingdings, they doing whatever they doing. And of course, tomorrow's the 4th of July. So everybody's out doing, they one, twos, whatever they're doing for the night. But also, you have them survivors and them thrivers, and you may have some victims up in the mix of all of that. So listen, ladies and gentlemen. If you are out there or when you come back in the house, make sure if you are single, do not be coming back home with no narcissistic male or female. And also no domestic violence person as well. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited. I did my first live radio show of Sharane World on a WBDY 99.5 radio station live locally right here in Binghamton. So I'm super excited. I did it live today at 6 o'clock. Okay. So listen, every Friday, make sure you guys check me out live. I will be taking calls. I will be playing some music. I will be spreading awareness. I will be talking about whatever it is for the day. Okay. So listen, I'm just super excited about it because listen, that is my goal is to spread awareness because as me being a survivor, especially, a domestic violence survivor at that, when I tell you, I'm so happy I survived that situation. You understand? And I'm so happy that, that person is in prison. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, nobody deserves to have their hands put on them, for no reason. Or maybe because that person is mad. You understand? Whether they're male or female. But me speaking, for example, for me going through domestic violence, I know that my domestic violence batterer, he always had a hand problem. And the number one thing is he never really showed it outside in the street. See, a lot of these domestic violence people, and I can't say all because some of them like to do it outside publicly too. But some domestic violence people, they would definitely hide it. They would do it when nobody's around, when your family's not around, and you're like closed in. Okay. When it start hitting the street, and you're out and about in the street and it gets violent in the street, that's a problem. And it's still a problem if it's happening indoors, but it's spilling out in the street and that person doesn't care. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, going through a domestic violence situation is it's not fun because in the beginning of a domestic violence situation, it starts off as a regular relationship. It starts off regular. It doesn't, like my domestic violence battle, like I said, he's in prison right now, somewhere where he needs to be at the end of the day. Absolutely. You understand? So listen, with him, it didn't start out all, wrong. Okay. It started out all good. Everything was good. Everything was good. It's like a regular relationship. You would have thought, like just everything was good. You got your king, you got your kids, you just thought everything was good. And but then down the road, you will start to notice that whether they're male or female, but down the road, you will start to notice how they'll try to control you. But see, in the beginning, when they try to control you, it's not like a big controlling. They do a real little where you think it's cute at first. You understand? But after a while, their controlling becomes very strong and very hard. Like you would start to notice that after a while, you don't have no friends. Your family starts disappearing, or there'll be things that your family will tell you and you're just not listening. That person would do things, behind closed doors. They may hit you or they may scream at you. They may do things around the house to just be angry all the time. Like my batterer, he has schizophrenia. He was a schizophrenia, and listen, there'll be times that everything will be good, and then you will have to see a shit show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, at the end of the day, I'm just happy I got out of that because there's there's so there's so much stuff that I'm not even coming up here and talk about when it comes to my narcissistic ex or my domestic violence batterer or anything else in between. You understand? Because like I said, as a survivor and a thriver, and especially for any victims out there, they don't have to tell a full story if they don't want to. So if I choose to come up on YouTube and choose not to tell y'all nothing, then that's just what I do. But as a peer mentor survivor, I'm sharing my story and whatever I went through and whatever else somebody else could have went through, and I'm just sharing it so someone else could, get the healing and get the education so they can understand what's going on out here in these streets so they can know they're not the only ones that's going through it. Okay? Yes. So listen, going through that domestic violence situation, like at the end of the day, I'm just happy I got out of that because that person will always like they would threaten you. They would say, "Oh, they would do this to your family. They would do that. They would do, just weird stuff." And it was times that I did try to get away, and he would come right back. You understand? He would find you and come right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And, like I said, with that situation, everything was pretty cool. And then after a while, it just got really domestical. And then you get stuck and you don't know what to do, where to go, who to turn to, or what to do. Okay. Um, it was bad. You always got to hear, the screaming and always mad at something and then happy. You know what I'm saying? Or they want to close you in rooms and, put, guns to your head and they want to play with them, and just talk a whole bunch of nonsense. They put their hands on you. They may beat you all the way in the corner. You understand? And then you have to try to figure your way how to get out of those situations, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, if you're getting beat on, whether you're a male or a female, I'm gonna tell you this. Please find yourself to get out that situation because it's not healthy at all. There are a lot of people that are going unalive behind domestic violence. in or a narcissistic abuse relationship. Okay? No matter who it is, male or female. It's happening out there in this world, ladies and gentlemen. So while everybody's partying and everybody's doing all this crazy stuff and everybody's doing all of that, is nothing wrong with doing that. Most of y'all third eye is not open out there in these streets, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So we have a lot of, unhealed narcissistic females out here, and we have a lot of unhealed toxic, narcissistic males out here in these streets, especially in Binghamton and the surrounding areas as well. Okay. So we have to educate ourselves. And they out there right now in them bars, them clubs, and them shingdings. And they're gonna be out there for the 4th of July. And y'all probably had to pay for their outfit. Okay? Because I know in my narcissistic ex, I'm quite sure somebody had to pay for an outfit. And you know, what's today? Hold on. Let me get into this real quick. 'Cause I know this is crazy on YouTube. Yeah. Sharane's World on YouTube. Let's go. So, we on Friday and Monday, Monday's the day. Tuesday's the day. Okay? I think that's court day. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely court day, Monday and Tuesday. We got to see how this go. Because if it don't go, we got to continue to keep bringing more awareness. Because listen, let me tell you something. When somebody's violating your order protection, and trust me, I get it. I get it. Before I get into this, let me tell you something more about DV real quick. Because, like I said, everybody knows about domestic violence, but nobody knows about narcissistic abuse relationships, right? When you're in a domestic violence relationship, and let's say, there was times that things will go on, and I would have to call like my mom and just put the phone on mute just so people could hear what's going on. You understand? There was times that my mom would have to call the police all the way from New York City. You understand what I'm saying? And as a victim, when that's happening and these cops come out, you try to make everything seem like it's all okay. So you try to defend that person. You get what I'm saying? And I totally understand that, especially, I get it. I get it. If you're in a domestic violence relationship and that's happening, I get it. But I'm gonna tell you something right here. It's not healthy at all. There are people going unalive behind domestic violence, left and right. Okay? Please get yourself out of that situation the safest way that you can. There is so much help out there, especially in Binghamton, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, I spread awareness nationwide. Okay. But because I reside in Binghamton, I spread my awareness in Binghamton because it's here. It's out here. It's out here. It's just not cool. So like I don't understand what people get with putting their hands on each other or like to the point where they gotta unalive them. Like, why can't people just walk away from the situation or just say, you know what, this is not a healthy relationship. I think we just, but then when you do things like that, some of these narcissistic people can't take a no, and it has to go out with a bang. And it shouldn't have to happen like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're dealing with anybody new, old, or whatever, and they're putting their hands on you, whether they're male or female, I'm telling you this right now, it is not okay. You need to set boundaries. If they're not going to respect your boundaries and continue to keep hitting you, then you need to walk away from that relationship. At the end of the day, the first time any male or female put their hands on you, you need to walk away. It does not matter if they're joking, they're doing it in a playful manner. You need to walk away. If you have a person that's telling you your narcissist, male or female, domestic or whatever, is telling you threatening things in the most nice, calm demeanor way, perfect example. If I see you with anybody, This is what I'm gonna do to them. If you're getting any kind of things like that in the nicest way, that's not cool. You have to set boundaries because these people are not playing. These narcissists and these DV people don't play when they tell you, if I see you with anybody, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay? So y'all gotta stay 10 steps ahead of these narcissists and these DV people. Because it's real out here and you don't want to be 6 feet under. Okay? And trust me, I get it. When you try calling the police and they come out and then you get swindled and love bombed right back into their circus. You understand? They're popping up at your door, your windows, your jobs, kids' schools, whatever they're doing. And you're just tired of it. You understand? Whether it's a domestic or narcissistic relationship, you're tired of walking around being bruised up. You're tired of hiding bruises. You're tired of not being yourself because you could go through that in a domestic violence relationship and a narcissistic relationship as well. Because, like I said, these narcissists definitely can get abusive. Because I know, they get abusive. And I remember August 4th, 2025. They get very abusive. And it happened before that too. And I can't sit here and say the narcissist always was doing something like that. But what I can say, okay, it happened a couple of times and I just didn't tolerate it. You understand me? So listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're dealing with any type of situation like this, please, please get yourself out of that. It is not healthy. Okay? It's not. So now, you know, I know everybody is out and about and them clubs and them shingdings and them bars out in Binghamton right now. And you know Sharane World definitely got to spread the awareness. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, make sure once again, I can't say it enough. Make sure you check me out on a WBDY 99.5 radio station live right here in Binghamton every Friday at 6 p.m. Okay? Check me out. I'm going to be up there spreading some awareness, whatever we're going to talk about for the day. Okay? Also, you can call in, ask questions, share your story. Just, just a little small story, nothing big, and let's just build a community and let's just get this awareness out here all together. That is the goal. The goal is helping each other, educate each other. Because let me tell you something. You can always learn something. Every day and every second, you're learning something. So it doesn't matter how old you are, what you are, whatever it is, you learn something every day and every second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's all learn. Let's all get the awareness. Let's all teach each other something out here about what's going on with domestic violence and narcissistic abuse relationships because it's real. It's here. It's hidden. These narcissists is hidden in plain sight. You just got to slip that mask. And when you slip their mask, you see what's hidden under there. I'm telling you. And it ain't fun. And it ain't cute. There's a lot of things that I really want to say, but you can't give people those type of energy. You understand what I'm saying? So let me tell you something. As a survivor, one thing I can say, I'm happy I got out that shit show. I'm absolutely happy I got out of it because all I seen was love bombing, using people. Like when I sat back, that domestic stuff, listen, we got all day and we got all week, we got all month. Listen, we just getting started out here in these streets, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, okay? We just getting started. So listen, once again, okay, make sure y'all check me out on a WBDY 99.5 radio station, okay? Live Friday at 6 p.m. every Friday. Check out Sharane World on the radio, okay? Now listen, it's real out here, okay? It is real out here. And I just want y'all to get the awareness. And I want other people to be able to come up and, share their stories and things like that of what they went through and how they survived, you know? And also maybe some other people, maybe they just don't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, we gotta educate ourselves. We gotta help each other, especially in this community in Binghamton. We all have to educate each other because everybody know what domestic violence is, but nobody knows what a narcissistic abuse relationship is. And if you like to get used, manipulated, swindled, gaslighted, what else? Love bombed, hoovered. If you want all of that with a whole bunch of supplies in the cut, whether they're male or female, if you want to be lied to all the time, okay, especially if they're being domestic on top of that, uh-uh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they can have their multiple supplies in the cut, and you, as the victim and the survivor or the thriver, could go about your business and do the healing that you need to do for yourself. Because the narcissist is not gonna go get help. Let me repeat that again. Let's get into this real quick. Because they at them clubs and them bars and them shingdings, and they definitely gonna be lurking and watching. Let me tell you something. Those narcissists is not gonna go get help. Okay? They will lie to the judge. They will do whatever. Them DV people is not gonna go get help either. I don't care how many times they say they gonna stop. I don't care if it's 6 months later that they didn't do it again, and then they did it again. They're not gonna change. And if they have some type of mental health problem, that's even worse. And if they have some type of drinking problem, that's even worse. So you have a domestic and a narcissist. And a narcissist can be very domestic. Like my narcissistic ex, he liked to put his hands. Yeah, he likes to do that. My domestic violence batterer that's sitting up in prison right now, same thing. He has a whole record that you don't even want to speak on, ladies and gentlemen. Like a whole record you don't want to speak on. So you got to educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Start, man. You know what I do? I definitely background check people. You understand? I need to know how many times you don't went to jail, or like me personally, I don't care about what your background is. You understand? It's all about, did you change? Did you heal? You understand what I'm saying? That's just what it's all about at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter what type of background you have. Yeah, well, you kind of do. You kind of do. But y'all get what I'm saying at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely real out here in these streets, ladies and gentlemen. So if you in any type of domestic violence relationship, please get yourself out of that situation. Reach out to the RISE program, reach out to the Crime Victim Services. There are advocates out there to help you. Okay? So I'm gonna start heading up out of here. And listen, y'all stay safe because they be lurking and being insane. Thank you.
You got a long way to go. Rock with me now.